We are on a birding adventure and we are going to learn about it with June Kohler to learn about what it is that she is trying to do on the Indiana Birding Trail. So June, you describe yourself as a ordinary birder. I think that's what you said. I'm just an ordinary birder, but I think you have an extraordinary goal. Why don't you tell us about that goal? What is it you're trying to do?
Well, I am trying to visit all of the sites that are designated on the Indiana Birding Trail and hopefully do it within the next few years because it's going to take a while.
Because they're scattered throughout the state of Indiana. So the Indiana Birding Trail lists, I think, over 60 sites now.
Right.
And there's a publication that lists all of the great parks that were nominated and selected, and it talks a little bit about how to get to the site, what birds you might see. Some of the trail maps are even in there. I bet you're using this little booklet.
I live in that book.
But you can also find all the information on the website at indianabirdingtrail.org. And we know that we're at St. Patrick's County Park, which is one of the sites on the Indiana Birding Trail. But how did you decide that you were going to try to visit all of the sites? Like, how did you get that goal in your head?
Well, I had seen the sign for the Indiana Birding Trail at Bev Crone Restoration Area, but I didn't really know what it was. I didn't make the Indiana Dunes Birding Festival this year, so I was scrolling through the store to see what goodies that were available. And I saw the guide, and I thought, oh, that's what that is, so I ordered it. And then when it came, I saw that it was stuff that was statewide, and I thought, I'm newly retired, I have the time, why would I not do it? It's just, instead of just driving around hoping to see something interesting, I have a specific destination. I have a little information about what to expect.
Each site,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I just thought it seemed like a fun thing to try to do.
And you get to bird and see some really interesting properties.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to do some birding with you. So how about if we go into the park? There's a nice little sunny spot. It's a great fall morning. There's lots of little birds moving around. Let's go see what we can find.
Good idea.
All right, let's go.
Was that all goldfinch there coming?
Oh, look at that. How fun is that? A group of goldfinches is called a charm. I love that. It's perfect for goldfinches.
I did not know that. Yeah.
It's like, they're charming, right? So we've got a nice mix. We got a bunch of goldfinches. And then a nice little flock of bluebirds. So I think sometimes people don't realize bluebirds often will spend the winter with us. Oh, look at them all around, all the goldfinches. That's great. Good sunny spot. That beautiful blue sky, sometimes people call that a bluebird sky. Perfect. Perfect. We have bluebirds and goldfinches. There goes some more. And there's some up there. Let's take a look. Nice. You can hear them chattering. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, June, tell me, how many sites have you visited so far?
So far I've been to 21.
Oh my gosh, that's a chunk.
Quite a few. I started in July, so I've been doing it for 4 months, but all of the ones I've been to are within about 2 to 2.5 hours of South Bend, so we have a lot up here.
We do. There's a real concentration of the birding sites in the northern part, but there's some really amazing ones down south. Those are just going to take you maybe a little, couple of days, right? Because you'll have to travel down.
Yeah.
Tell me about like some of the sites that you've been to. Have they been county parks, state parks? Is it a mix? What have they been like?
I've been to county parks and fish and wildlife areas. The fish and wildlife areas are pretty amazing because some of them are really big.
Yeah,
you
that's right.
You can do a lot of birding by car. Some of them have some other interesting things within the property themselves. Like Chain of Lakes has the Stanley School. It's a one-room schoolhouse there, which is kind of fun. It was closed when I was there, but
you can see the outside, and it's a really cool little building. Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
And Kankakee Sands has the bison herd, and they just added some bison to the herd, so it is going to be fun to see.
So your adventure, in some ways, has been not only about birds and birding, but also just exploring the sites, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of exploring, there's a great little wetland here at St. Patrick's County Park, and usually there's some birds down there. So how about if we head that way?
Perfect.
Okay. When you were down here before, did you hear red-headed woodpeckers? Or have you gotten red-headed woodpeckers back there?
I've gotten red and pileated back here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Not bad. Cool. This is a great little spot because there's lots of shrubs and berries, and a lot of the birds that come down from the fall or in the fall are feeding on all these little berries. So great little wetland, lots of shrubs for migrating birds. So that's really fun. You know, the birding trail was established by Indiana Audubon, and then I think there's a group of advisors that help pick the sites. When you're picking the sites to go to, is it just based on your schedule, or like you wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to go here today, or how do you do that?
It's kind of based on how far away they are, and like the guidebook says, if it's a 4-season birding site, or if, you know, some are better in other times of the year. So I kind of base it on the schedule and the location and what I can expect to see and when.
Good point, right? Because sometimes you could go to a site, but if it's not known for birds in that season, I didn't think about that. So you kind of got to time where it is that you're going to go. Has anything stood out for you in terms of, you know, great things that you've seen, or anything that you've like really appreciated once you've been on some of the sites?
Well, I appreciate the diversity of habitat that we have in northern Indiana, or just in Indiana, period.
Right.
I mean, we don't have the spectacular scenery that you have out west, but we have great habitat for birds.
We do have great habitat, and I think one of the other fun things that you're doing along the way is you're keeping a bird list, and you're also sharing on, there's some Facebook birding groups that you've been sharing, right?
Right.
And so I think that's how I found out that you were doing this, because you'll say, you know, this is my 21st site and here's what I saw. But you're also kind of making a collection of photos, right?
Yes.
So what do you take pictures of? We're going to share some of them here.
I take pictures of the entrance sign and a birding trail sign if I can find it. And then just whatever birds I can catch on my phone. It doesn't take the best pictures, but I take memories.
Exactly.
And sometimes just nice scenery.
Just, you know, beautiful shots. Yeah, some really pretty shots. Because as you said, the habitat and then the parks themselves, or the natural areas themselves, are kind of fun. If there was a beginning birder, or maybe a birder who doesn't think they're very, you know, knowledgeable or experienced, what would you say to encourage them about exploring the birding trail?
I would say if you can find an experienced birder to go with, that's great. If you can't set out by yourself, do the best you can with a guidebook. And just for safety's sake, though, if you're going to set out by yourself, tell somebody where you're going. And with texting and things, you can tell them when you arrive and when you're leaving and things like that, just to be on the safe side. It's just better to do that.
Good point, good point.
But just do the best you can and have fun.
And have fun. You know, sometimes, as you say, it's just about experiencing the site. So the birding trail gets folks out to see birds, but also to see some great natural areas.
Right.
Well, thanks for being an inspiration. I think you have a great goal, and I'm going to keep following you and see how you do ticking off all the sites, because you're well on your way, and I think it's a great adventure.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, June. Remember, you can find your own outdoor elements when you visit area parks and natural areas. We'll see you soon.